I think you have to push the Start Broadcast button at the top.
I just did. Stop recording. Where's the Start Broadcast? Let me see that.
Just click the Start Broadcast right there. No, right here, maybe. Right here, the orange button. Oh, it's over here. Right there. Start.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, and welcome to today's webinar. I'm Josephine Franklin, Associate Director in Professional Development at NASSP. Our topic today is developing a mobile learning school with the Verizon Mobile Learning Academy. Please note that should you have any technical problems during the broadcast, call Rich at 703-860-0759. As you participate in this webinar, we encourage and invite you to expand the conversation on Twitter using the hashtag NASSPWEBINAR. You can also follow NASSP on Twitter. Our handle is @NASSP. We are also on Facebook at facebook.com/principals. During the webinar today, we invite your questions. Please submit them using the question box on your GoToWebinar panel. We will respond to as many questions as time permits. However, should we run out of time to answer all questions, we will respond by email following the broadcast. We are recording this webinar. It will be available on our website within 24 to 48 hours at www.nassp.org/webinar videos. We are pleased to have with us today Sherrybosch, Program Manager at ISTE, and who will be your moderator for today's webinar. And with that, I'd like to turn the program over to Sherry. Welcome, Sherry.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. And again, I'm Sherrybosch, ISTE Virtual Learning Program Manager and your host for today's broadcast. Welcome to Developing Your Mobile Learning Landscape, presented by Dr. Karen Richardson and Jenna Linskens. I'd like to introduce Karen Richardson. She's the Executive Director of the Virginia Society for Technology and Education, an ISTE affiliate. And in that capacity, she works to develop and implement online and face-to-face educational technology professional development experiences for educators. And Karen has more than 25 years of experience in education and has taught high school English, middle school language arts and technology, and she focuses her attention now on pre-service and in-service teachers teaching both face-to-face and online courses related to educational technology and school leadership and administration. She's an ISTE faculty who's engaged in our Verizon Innovative Learning Schools program as well as our Verizon Mobile Learning Academy, and she coaches and mentors to support schools in one-to-one initiatives nationwide. And we also have Jenna Linskens with us. She's our Senior Educational Consultant with ISTE Professional Services, and she provides project leadership and support to schools, including staff development trainings and guidance on best practices for technology integration, instructional design, and e-learning in K-12 and higher education classrooms. Jenna's been an instructor of various graduate courses of educational technology for the past 7 years at Marian University in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. And prior to her work at Marian, Linskens was an elementary educator for 11 years. She's also a Google certified educator and a Google certified teacher. And she's been called an EdTech rock star, which she totally is, and has presented internationally at states and national conferences around the United States. She has a Master's of Arts in Education in Curriculum and Instruction and is currently earning her educational doctorate in technology and e-learning. So Jenna's going to go ahead and get us started. So Jenna, off to you.
Thank you very much. It's Sherry and Joe. It's great to be here with everybody today. Our agenda for today is that we're going to introduce you to ISTE's professional services. We're going to talk a little bit about what we can offer you and how we can support you and your classroom teachers throughout the school year. We're going to show you the information about our ISTE's mobile learning pathway, and then I'm going to be handing it off to Karen in a little while, and she'll share some information about the mobile learning experience, as well as the two of us will provide you with an overview of the Verizon Mobile Learning Academy. And hopefully we'll have time to answer some questions. So make sure you're posting those or hang on to those and ask those in that question box along the way. So the first thing we'd like to do is we're going to send out 2 poll questions. Those are going to be coming out to you. So the first poll question should come out, and I think I have to just do. Sherry, can you see that quick poll question yet, or did I lose?
Nope, we do see the quick poll questions, so we invite people to just click into one of those options, and we'll share the results soon.
All right, thank you. So I want you to think about what type of mobile device program that you're currently running in your school or in your district. And we gave you a few options. One-to-one, if you're a one-to-one district. If you're BYOD, maybe you're other. Maybe you have classroom labs or computers on wheels. And we should be able to present the results here very shortly. Okay, so if you could finish up your poll.
Okay,
And Carolyn?
So looking at our poll results, we have 29% saying they have one-on-one. We have 50% saying BYOD and 21% other.
Excellent. Thank you, Joe. All right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to push out one more question. That's a follow-up to the device program. The second poll question we're going to ask you to think about.
Okay, so how do I get out of this,
All right.
Launch.
So the second poll question is, what type of mobile devices are you currently supporting or using in your school or district? So I want you to think about what kind of devices you have. Are you using tablets like Android or Apple products? Do you have laptops, Chromebooks maybe? You might even have Kindles or Nooks. Or do you allow, with that BYOD program, do you allow students to bring their smartphones and use their smartphones?
There we go. The results are posted.
Wonderful. And look at that. We have a lot of people with laptops, Chromebooks, and tablets. Those tend to be the most popular, but it's great to see even there's 40% for smartphones. And we have 10% that are using Kindles or Nooks. And that is a very typical that we see when we're working with schools across the country, that we see a big variety. Laptops do tend to be probably the most popular, so we see that quite a bit. All right, well, thank you so much for those quick polls. We're going to go back into the slide presentation. So Carolyn, if we could end the poll, and so I could have my screen back. Thank you. And all right, so I want to make sure that you're seeing the. I have to make sure you're seeing the right slide deck. Can you see the ISTE standards, Sherry?
It's not quite up yet, Jenna. You might need to do the play button on show. There you go.
Okay. Okay.
And you can do
now
full screen.
You see? Yeah.
Yep, there we are.
Okay, can you see the standards, Sherry?
Yes, yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So the ISTE standards, we have 5 different suites of standards. We have the ISTE standards for administrators, students, coaches, the computer science educators, and for teachers. And if you were at the ISTE conference this year in Philadelphia, or you were not at ISTE and followed the hashtag not at ISTE, you might have heard that we are beginning a refresh of the ISTE standards for students. And so those are in the process of being refreshed at this time. But one of the key things that you'll see throughout all of the standards is there's digital citizenship. And that is a key piece of being a responsible digital user. So whether you're a native or you are an immigrant to the technology world, knowing digital citizenship and how to be responsible users of technology, not just with copyright, but with just with our digital footprint is important to know. Also, you'll see in there for teachers, coaches, administrators, we look at professional development and understanding our leadership role, our responsibilities, as well as our knowledge of digital learning and digital teaching. So we have our suite of standards, which are also supported in all of our different series that we offer. We have our professional services. We offer different online courses. We have webinars, a lot like what we're doing today, but more in a professional type of a learning activities where we're doing a full learning class. So we have those different offerings available, but we also offer a variety of support to you and your technology integration. As you are looking at your technology and you're moving forward in today's, in the 21st century learning, we look at digital age schools and how can we help you, how can ISTE help you become a digital age school that's continuously moving forward. And so we work through the digital citizenship. You can see here we have 3 key components: coaching, community, and standards. And all of our support involves a large community. You are working with a variety of experts from ISTE through our ISTE faculty like Karen, as well as many others from around the country. And we work together to help you look at what are you currently doing in your practices. So that's that planning and data collection. And then we work, again, it's all team. We help you to build that fluency. So moving forward, what are you going to continue to do that's working well? How can we help you to make changes and improve on what you're currently doing? That's going to help you from the administrator standpoint work on supporting your teachers in embedding the classroom technology and how they're going to put that technology to use in their classrooms with their students, and building on that just from the basic all the way through that seamless integration, understanding the pedagogy behind it, working on TPAC, understanding that technology, pedagogy, and content knowledge all work together in order to impact student learning and our teaching in a positive way. And that's how we get to implementing those standards, as we work you through that, supporting you along the way, and those ISTE standards are an important piece of that and help guide us through those processes. So why mobile learning? Why mobile teaching? Well, as I said, TPAC is a huge part of what supports, and research shows that that students are engaged when we provide them with different types of activities and opportunities to learn in different ways. And so we help you with reflecting on current pedagogy and how you can, how teachers can change that. We help you with the social interaction piece, and again, going back to that whole idea of digital citizenship and how do we interact socially right now, as well as how are we going to support our students as they learn to interact through an online environment. And then just the personal devices. Think about what you carry with you every single day and how many devices you have. um, one of the things that I always think about is at our ISTE conference is that people come and you can see them sitting around and they're going to have their laptops and their smartphones and their tablet computers, and how we're all connected digitally to so many different worlds just through that small piece of technology. So understanding how to use that for teaching and for learning. And as I said, in regards to that pedagogy, we are bringing in a huge part of that is the digital citizenship, but we also talk about classroom management and helping you and teachers look at classroom management and effective use of the tool, not just classroom behaviors, but just even how to effectively integrate and seamlessly integrate that technology in the classroom. And we also focus on creating, helping teachers and educators create exciting assignments and activities that are going to move students up on that Bloom's taxonomy, on that higher, into those higher levels of Bloom's taxonomy. So we help with all of those different types of things as we look at the pedagogy. With social interaction, I talked a little bit about the best practices and the engagement and the motivation, but just understanding, again, going even that further step, having students create, have them design, have them publish, and make their work public so others can view that and can comment and provide feedback. And in the devices, as you showed in your polls, many of you are one-to-one, but we have a large amount of people that are BYOD, and some people are in that more of a different ratio, where maybe you have fewer devices, or maybe you have more devices, just because of how the number of tools that are available to our students, and that we want to provide a variety of tools, and we don't want to just limit them to one piece of technology. As we all know, we need to be multilingual in the technology world. So that is ISTE, and that is how we support educators around the country, administrators, helping you to work with your teachers to provide a technology-rich learning experience. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand it off to Karen, and Karen's going to tell you about our Verizon Mobile Learning Academy, and she's going to give you a little taste of what we can offer you through the VMLA. So Karen, I'm going to hand it off to you, and hopefully you have the, yep, there you go. You should be good to go, Karen.
Great, thanks, Jenna. Welcome, everyone. It is really a pleasure and an honor to be able to be with you this afternoon and demonstrate a little bit of the fabulous learning that takes place as part of the Verizon Mobile Learning Academy, and then also talk to you about how the Academy can support you in your mobile initiative efforts. I'm reminded often that I grew up in a time when the AV machine that I learned to use was one of those reel-to-reel film projectors, and so we've really come a long way. And for people who sort of thought, oh well, those computers will eventually find their place in the world, and we won't have to keep worrying about all this technology stuff, I'm here to tell you it's not going to happen in our lifetime. The world continues to change, and I'm excited to see how educators are responding through one-to-one and BYOD programs that I think really can have strong impacts in the classroom in terms of student engagement, student learning, and just general ability to help our students collaborate and demonstrate critical thinking. And the VMLA Academy is a program that can really meet you where you are in terms of the programs that you're putting in place and the things that you wish to do. So we'll see if I'm really in control here. Let's see. I'm not seeming to be able to go, Jenna. I don't think do I need to be the presenter?
I just gave you the mouse and keyboard. Can you try it again, Karen?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I can't seem to forward. Maybe I'm sorry. I'm old. This is my excuse for everything these days. I'm just kidding. When I press an arrow, or I'm not seeing arrows to be able to forward the PowerPoint. Okay, good. So what we're going to do is look at a couple of the different kinds of activities that we do as part of the program before we dive into the details of that program. So the first one is an activity that we do as in terms of creating infographics. And I think the thing to keep in mind with VMLA is that all the activities over the course of the 10-week program really have two overarching goals. We're thinking, learning, and talking about all the various aspects of rolling out move into the program that you want to use. And so on. And then there's also the opportunity to use a variety of collaborative tools to apply and demonstrate the learning that's coming together with your team. So you get a nice chance to have good conversations, but you also get a chance to explore a variety of the different tools that are out there. And you see how they work for your team, and then the idea is that hopefully you'll be able to take those back to your schools, but also take them back to your classroom. So we're going to show you two sample activities. So this first one is creating infographics. So the technology piece of this is using some of the online infographic tools to be able to design one of these infographics that are quite so popular out there right now. The content for this, so you've got that tool, the content that you're using is thinking about mobile device appropriate use. Certainly, one of the biggest concerns of every kid having a device is managing them in the classroom, holding students accountable for what they're doing with that device, and making sure that it is being used appropriately in the classroom context. So as part of the Verizon Mobile Learning Academy, the team comes together to think about using the particular devices and then how they're going to communicate that appropriate use to their students. So they use one of the infographic tools. We recommend either Easily or piktochart.com, and they do that to create an infographic that then they can post in their rooms and also throughout the school. And this is one of the assignments where each individual creates an infographic, each individual teacher creates an infographic that they can use in their classroom. So maybe you're a high school English teacher who's discussing ways of using the device to support English teaching, English learning. The school administrator and the tech coach who are on the team then design a more general school-wide graphic, so an infographic that might be posted in the cafeteria or
Karen, we're getting a little bit of audio fluctuation from your audio. If you can try and keep speaking, we'll try and be able to hear you. And Karen, I'm hoping you are on a hardwired connection, correct?
these infographics in the classroom are kind of endless. I mean, certainly they're great for summarizing data. They can be used as part of research. And the ability to show people the statistics that you've discovered, and so on and so forth. They also, though, help reinforce visual thinking, and this is a topic that's really quite out there right now. There's a new book out, and they really help reinforce these ideas of how we think in visual ways. How do we create patterns? How do we express information in more visual kinds of ways? And so I think they're helping us with learning skills that are really essential in this graphics-oriented world that we live in. So if we can go to the next slide. these are examples of infographics that were created as part of the Verizon Mobile Learning Academy program. And again, remember the content was appropriate device use. So the one on the left is a decision-making map, which I really liked when the team put it together. And that big question is, should I be on my phone right now? So where am I? What am I doing? How am I doing it? And they go through the various questions and answers about what you might be doing with your phone, and when you shouldn't be using your phone, you see that big put the phone away, but then you also see that bigger graphic of use your resource. And I think that's one of the real balancing messages of the Verizon Mobile Learning Academy is we want to figure out, we know these are incredible learning sources for us, these phones the students have and the various tablets and the devices they might bring. How do we make sure we're balancing when it's appropriate and when it's not? And then the graphic on the right is a lot of fun because they sort of played with the metaphor of fueling your device, and so they use GAS as the acronym and then fill that in with ideas for using your device. But again, the focus of this is on how do you use your device for learning. Look at the big question down at the bottom. Do you have an idea on how to use your device for learning? Share it with the teacher. So we're really trying to get the students involved here. In terms of being accountable, understanding how they can use that device for their learning. So our goal here now is to go out and take a look at piktochart. And you're not seeing my background, I don't think. So Jenna, I guess you'll have to share your background with us. Share your computer. And I do not have control, Jenna, just FYI, so I'll let you click around as I talk. So this is, I picked piktochart as the tool. Easily is just as good. Both of them are free, but they have upgrades that you can pay for as you go along. But I think for what we're doing, and all of the tools in the Verizon Mobile Learning Academy are indeed free, so you don't have to worry about paying for a lot of apps or those kinds of things. We really do try to focus on the things that are available for you on a free basis. Of course, if you really get into it, you can always do the pro upgrade. Basically, it gives you access to additional templates and images and so on and so forth. So Jenna, if you could just scroll up a little bit or scroll down, I guess. So you see when you come into piktochart, there are a variety of free templates for you to choose from. And if you're a beginning user, my recommendation would certainly be that you probably start with one of the pre-created templates to see how things fit together and how you can use them for yourself. And so we can just, all you would do would be to pick one of those templates and then fill in the various pieces of it. The nice part about them is they've already got a visual footprint to them. I'm no visual designer myself, and so I kind of appreciate when people have suggested colors and different ways of organizing. One of the conversations you can certainly have with your students is, what kind of information are you trying to present? And so which of these infographics might work the best way for you? Once you get some of the templates under your belt, then you can, of course, start from scratch too. So Jenna, if you can just go up to the My Saved Pikto-charts, that will show off the two infographics that I have made. I've been playing with piktochart myself. I did one on some research, so presenting some research that I had done into why people think we should do coding. It's a very popular topic right now. Everybody should be teaching coding, an hour of code. And so I did one there, and we're just seeing if we can get us to navigate to them. This is one of those cases where things aren't working the way they did when we practiced. Sometimes it happens. We all love technology, don't we? Well, anyway, so if we can get to it, we will, but there it is, perfect. Well, that's the, okay, good. So I have two. So that's the Y computer science one. And again, I used an existing template and then was able to put in my own information as part of that template. This one is very much statistics heavy, and I think it's a great opportunity to talk to students about all the statistics that surround us in the world. It's important to make sure that you provide the resource for the statistics that you've created, and you can see that I've done that with the jobs on the side. They came from a report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I've also sort of taken all the information I learned and put it together in those three big themes. So I'm able to kind of summarize the information into a more general way of showing it to people. You can also put in your own images, and one of the reasons I like piktochart is because in its free version it allows me to upload images, and so you can see I put in some screenshots of Code Academy and Scratch and a couple of the apps that allow you to do some coding. And then at the bottom, thinking that this would be a poster that you would share with someone, I've included a couple of QR codes that I created. And then again, I was able to take those QR code images and put them right into the piktochart.
Karen, we lost your audio again for a minute.
Okay, great. I guess I'm back. Sorry about that. And then go ahead, Jenna, if you'd go do the other one, the second one. So this was actually an idea that came to me just yesterday. I teach college courses, as Sherry mentioned in my biography, and I'm teaching a school technology class for administrators. And I have the typical syllabus that other people have, with lots of text on it and lots of things you should know. And so the blogger at Huck, Chronicle of Higher Ed, the Prof Hacker blogger, had a woman yesterday talking about how she had taken her syllabus and put it into piktochart in an effort to perhaps have people maybe actually even read her syllabus, because a lot of times I think students look at it and they see all that text and they don't want to sort of burden themselves. So I played with this, and I did this one from scratch, and it took just about 10 or 15 minutes, and I sort of purposely did it from scratch just to see how difficult it was to sort of design it. The graphics, the pencil graphics and the circle, they all came from piktochart, so they provide you with some of those icons and images that you can use. I put my own little picture in there, and I actually think it turned out pretty nicely. The URL for the course site and your textbooks, and there's still text there, there's still things to read, but those visual cues help divide things up, I think, in a very pleasing kind of way. So that's piktochart, and it is one of the tools that you have the opportunity to use at VMLA. So one of the second activities that we do as part of the VMLA Academy is using tools to support certain kinds of pedagogy as well. So certainly students learn lots of content, but they also learn lots of pedagogy. And so we like to show how to use concept mapping tools to support brainstorming and concept mapping in the classroom. And this is certainly a pedagogy that teachers have used forever. I'm an old English teacher, and we used to do all sorts of brainstorming and concept mapping on the chalkboard and then on the whiteboard, and now we're able to do it online. And the beauty of being able to do these online is that everyone can participate, so you can get everybody's voices included in those images, and that's what we're going to try to do today. So Sherry said, let's go ahead and practice together. We're using a tool called Google Draw. This is part of the Google Apps for Education suite. Many schools include that. You should be able to grab a link that Sherry has sent you, and when you click on that link, it will take you out to a Google Draw that's been shared. And you can go ahead and use the text tool up in the toolbar area. There's a little T in a box. And if you just grab that text tool and click on the window, you can type in your answer. There we go. We've already got somebody typing away, and I'm looking at all our little anonymous folks coming into the room, which is very exciting. I always think that all those little anonymous creatures that come in would be a great animal lesson for students, because once you get a lot of people in, you get some really interesting animals like ibex and aurochs, I think they're called, and capybaras and so on. So it's a lot of fun to see the anonymous folks. So there you go. You can see it's fairly simple. Google allows you to have multiple people editing at the same time, and so that's fun. Good, somebody's typing. This is easy and fun. Please feel free to also put in your response to the question of how mobile devices can support teaching and learning. Someone said bringing authentic audiences to the learning. Certainly quick surveys, absolutely. You have it up when the kids come into the room. You could, of course, have students log in to respond to this, and that way it would not be anonymous the way it is today. But we wanted to make it as easy as possible, so we simply opened it up to everyone. Someone said it's increasing the engagement, a great formative assessment as well. Just drop down what you know. Clearly, we're using it as an audience response tool for folks to be able to come in. I think the higher level thinking definitely comes in as students are able to use those mobile devices to support their own kinds of learning as well. If I have a device in my hand, I can more customize and personalize the kinds of work that I'm doing and really think about what helps me learn. And you're right, it's a virtual discussion in many cases. I had no idea how many people were going to be here today. We had some idea, but we weren't able to give everybody accounts or so on, and yet we've all been able to add into a document together. And I think that collaboration piece is just so important for people. And we think, oh, I need a really special tool or a special app to be able to do that, and many times you can adapt something like Google Draw, or I could do the exact same thing with a Google Slide as well, to do those kinds of things without having to worry about extra software or extra websites. So those are just a sample of two of the kinds of activities that we do as part of the Verizon Mobile Learning Academy. And again, they're an opportunity for you to think about the content piece. How are we going to deal with these mobile devices and our BYOD? And then they're also an opportunity for you to explore some different kinds of tools that you might use in the classroom. So Jenna, if you want to go ahead and get us back to the slides, that'd be great. So just a little bit of detail about the Verizon Mobile Learning Academy. I think I'll start with the one that perhaps is in this day and age of professional development out there. This is a free program, and it has been put together by the Verizon Foundation. They are a great supporter of ISTE's professional development work. ISTE is the main partner who does the work for the program. And then Johns Hopkins School of Education is also a partner, because once you participate in the Verizon Mobile Learning Academy, you do receive continuing education units as part of the program. And I think that's very exciting to think about. So those are the three partners: Verizon, ISTE, and Johns Hopkins. And there is a URL on the slide that can get you to additional information as well. So what is the Verizon Mobile Learning Academy? It is a 10-week mobile learning course, and it's designed, I think, most importantly for teams. The ideal team has a school administrator, a technology coach, and then teachers who are part of it. And teams range anywhere from 5 to 10 people. But this is not a single person kind of course. It's an opportunity for teams in a school to come together and consider these issues that they're dealing with as part of rolling out a mobile learning initiative. The course is delivered in Canvas, which is a learning management system, and it includes 5 modules that last 2 weeks of each. You begin with some discovery, an opportunity to do some needs assessment work around mobile learning using the ISTE standards and the ISTE essential conditions, so you get a sense of where you are as you start the course. You then have an opportunity to explore the various mobile technologies that you do have and begin thinking about what you might want to add, what kinds of things are available to you. Then you get into designing. You look at apps, you look at websites that you might use, and then you use either your own or a lesson plan format provided for us to design actual activities that can be rolled out in the classroom. No course about mobile devices would be complete without something on digital citizenship, and that's where those infographics came from that you saw. That was part of the digital citizenship module. And then finally, you end by thinking about the kinds of policies and management that you need to have in place to make this work. The program ends with a capstone project, so you complete 7 activities in the first 6 or 7 weeks, and then you have several weeks to put together your capstone project, which is a small strategic plan, using what you have learned and thought about as part of the program. What's your next step? What are you going to do next? And we have a format for you to use to roll that plan out, and then you have an opportunity to share it with others. So it's kind of, we did this 10 weeks, what have we learned, and I think most importantly, where are we going to go from here? What impact is the Verizon Mobile Learning Academy going to have on our school? I think one of the exciting parts of this is that you do get to work with an instructional consultant. As Jenna mentioned, I am one of the instructional consultants for the Learning Academy. So this is a live facilitated course. This isn't a self-paced, do it on your own initiative kind of thing. And I think that's one of the pieces that makes this really powerful, is because you're not just accountable to yourself and your team, but you are also accountable to your instructional consultant. And she, in my case, she is there to provide feedback on your assignments, provide support. Maybe you're looking for particular policies and your IC might be able to provide some samples for you. She can help you with planning out how you're going to do activities, and just generally supports you where you need to be. And so it helps take the regular VMLA course that everyone takes and customize it for your particular audience and your particular stakeholder groups. This semester, or this cohort in particular, I have very different kinds of schools as part of my teams. I have a special needs middle school and high school that works primarily with children with autism and Asperger's syndrome, and they're rolling out Chromebooks, so they have their own challenges. I'm working with a group of adult educators who work at the state level and go out and do workshops for teachers who are rolling out BYOD and one-to-one, and they were looking for ways to make their professional development stronger, as well as strengthen their own team use of the devices that they have. And then I also have an elementary school who's part of what we're doing. And then finally, I have a group that's providing online education for schools and homeschoolers. So you can see I have this wide diversity. They're all taking the VMLA course. Where we're able to customize is because each one of them has me as an instructional consultant who can say, okay, this is what you're doing this week. How can we make this work for your particular group of stakeholders and your particular team? You meet with your IC live, usually every other week, through whichever conferencing tool is comfortable for you. So I think just a couple other comments about this before I turn it back over to Jenna. Every week you're doing something new. You're working together with your school team. You also have a connection to all the other cohorts that are available through a Google Plus community. And as the slide says, this is really a key component. It's great that your team works together, but you also at this point have access to probably 200 other educators who are all doing the same kinds of rollouts that you are, and that's a great place to go to ask questions. And what lessons have you learned, and have you seen this particular resource, and how are you managing doing things with your phones, and so on and so forth. And so collaborating with your team, but then also being able to connect to all those other educators is a really important part of the project. We've talked a lot about what you're going to do already, but just as a reminder, the VMLA course will help you and your team really figure out how you're going to use those mobile devices in the classroom. You have opportunities to think about the apps, but then, as Jenna said, you think about how the technology meets with the pedagogy and supports the content knowledge. And so we're always thinking about that TPAC model in terms of creating lessons and activities, and then also thinking about the best and appropriate use for your students as well. And then finally, I think for me, ultimately, what the course does for you is kind of forces you to have the kinds of conversations that you'd like to have, but you're busy people, and right now you're probably going back to school, and so, you know, there's lots going on, and you think we really should talk about the mobile device management and digital citizenship, but, you know, we have all these other things that are taking our attention away. By pulling together your key team people and taking the opportunity to do the 10 weeks together, you make time for the kinds of powerful conversations that you really need to be having, and then that team can take what they've learned and move it out to the rest of their school division as you work on your mobile learning implementation plan. I can't say enough about this professional development as an opportunity to really think hard about what you're doing and then where you want to go as part of mobile learning. I am going to go ahead and turn it back to Jenna, and I noticed that Sherry has been putting a link to more information, and the next cohort does start on October 5th.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Karen. And those activities are fun. I always like looking to see what other people have been doing in regards to their piktochart and how they're being used, because there are so many creative ways to use them. So thanks for sharing those things with us. So I'm just going to tell you just a little bit more about the Verizon Mobile Learning Academy, as Karen did a phenomenal job already introducing it to you. She mentioned that it's part of one of our partners in this is the Verizon Foundation. The Verizon Foundation actually committed up to $1 million over the next 3 years as part of the Connect Ed initiative. And so as part of that, ISTE has received a grant where we are able to offer you the Verizon Mobile Learning Academy for free. Currently, through 3 cycles, so since last September, we've run 3 cycles, and you can see here some of our impacts that we have. We've had 330 teachers, 82 tech coaches, 83 administrators. That is 525 participants across the country. And that student outreach is over 46,000 students. And that number is constantly growing as we are seeing more and more schools filling out applications, and then looking forward to the 4th cycle, which will begin in October, and the number of students that we can impact as a result of that. And when I moved on from classroom teaching to college level and into my role here at ISTE, my mom, who is an educator for 38 years, said, "Why are you leaving the classroom? You're such a great teacher and you impact so many students." And I said, "Because, Mom, as I go through these different career changes, I get to impact even more students." So just for me to be able to say, wow, look at how many educators that we've worked with through ISTE, and as a group and as a team, we have been able to impact 46,000 students in a positive way, is just phenomenal. It just gets me, you know, goosebumps, and I have, you know, just chills right now, because that's just an amazing thing to think about. Part of the Verizon Mobile Learning Academy, as your team works through it, there's the opportunity to earn 2.5 continuing education units. Johns Hopkins University is one of our other partners, and all participants who complete 8 out of the 9 activities, including the final action plan that Karen had talked about, participants receive 2.5 CEUs. And so that can be a very valuable documentation that you have completed, not just an online course, but a very rigorous and very meaningful online course that's very, very different from a traditional MOOC. This is, again, very guided, and you get a lot of support from our instructional consultants. So again, 2.5 CEUs, that's going to require about 2.5 hours a week over 10 weeks. Sometimes that fluctuates. Some people need a little bit more time one week and a little less the following week, but about 25 hours total. 8 group assignments and the capstone project, as well as participation in that Google Plus community, that Verizon Mobile Learning Academy community. That is a wonderful PLN. As you saw, we have 500 educators in there already, and that community continues to grow, and they are still able to collaborate. The alumni are able to go in and communicate and problem solve, and as they're getting ready for this start of the school year, they're really starting to lean on each other. It gives them the chance to talk and problem solve. Well, we came across this, how are you handling it? And so it's a great place to do that. So how do you get going on the VMLA? Well, you're going to go ahead and you look at, are you up for that challenge? Check your availability. You can go to the website, and you will be able to download the flyer from, we have it in a handout, so you will be able to download it from the handout tab, and you can get more information. But look at, are you a K-12 public school or district, charter schools, private schools? As you heard, Karen has a variety of different types of schools that she's working with. Are you located in the U.S. or a U.S. territory? If you saw on the map, if you didn't see your state with a red little button, that means we're still looking for schools to sign up their teams to participate. So you might just be the first in your state to join the VMLA, and you can set that bar high for the rest of the state.
Hey, Jenna.
Assemble your team. Yes.
So could you go back to the slide with the
Sure.
states on it so that people can look at their dots real quick? That's great.
Go ahead. Yeah. Sure.
So give them just a second and we can go on.
Okay, sure. So go ahead and take a look. You can see if we have a white number in there, that means that we've actually had more schools than one. So Pennsylvania has had 6 schools. Texas has had 5 participate already. California is up to 8. And we have school teams from approximately 35 states and Puerto Rico. So we're really excited about that, and we want to get more. And just because your state might have a red button, that doesn't mean don't apply, because we really would love to see those numbers continue to grow and help you to impact the students in your state, whether you've had one school already or you're looking to have many, many more. All right. So oops, back there. So assemble your team, as Karen had mentioned. Ideal teams are going to have at least one administrator, one tech coach, and then the rest will be teachers. 10 is a great number. That's a good, solid number that gives you a great team to work with, to communicate, to problem solve, to look ahead. You can have more than one administrator on the team, and you can have more than one tech coach. So look at assembling your team, and then go ahead to that ISTE.org/VMLA website, and that has been shared out again. So you can go ahead in there. You can start filling out an application. You do not need to be an ISTE member. You just need to have an ISTE login, which would mean that when you go to ISTE.org, you register just as if you were registering your email address. And so you do not need to be a full paid ISTE member to access this. This is free to everybody. And so go ahead to ISTE.org/VMLA and begin your application. And once you have completed your application, it will be submitted to us, and then we'll be able to work with you and help get your school ready for Cycle 4, which again starts in October. You can have multiple teams from your school or your district apply for the same cycle. You can also have one team sign up for cycle 4 and maybe one for cycle 5 or after that, starting in 2016. So again, create that user profile at ISTE.org, www.ISTE.org, and then you will be ready to apply for the VMLA program. So working together as a team. Your team at your school, your district, you're going to work together and you're going to start asking some of those tough questions and looking at what you can do, what's working, what's going well, and what are some stumbling blocks, and how can you move forward with those stumbling blocks. And then you're going to work with our ISTE team, our wonderful faculty like Karen, and we have many, many others throughout the country that we have as part of our ISTE faculty, our rock stars. And they are here, and we are here to work with you and help you to continue to grow in your mobile learning initiatives. So I have 2 more questions that we're going to push out to you. And then if there's any other questions that are coming in from the audience, we can take those at the end. But we have 2 more poll questions. So I'm the quick poll. Here's the 3rd question for you. How likely are you to register a team for the Verizon Mobile Learning Academy on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being very likely? So if you could go ahead and answer that question for us. And we'll just give you about 30 seconds here, and then we'll be looking at our poll. And hopefully that little taste of what Karen gave you hopefully that sparked your interest and you're thinking, I know some teachers that would benefit and they would be great. They would be the ones that would take this to the next level and really engage the rest of the staff. So hopefully we've got some people that are interested in there. All right. I think that poll might be complete now. And we're going to go to the next poll. Oh, there we go. There's the results. All right. Ooh, very likely. Good. Okay, excellent. Well, hopefully many of you found this as a great opportunity. And again, it's free as a result of a grant through the Verizon Foundation. So a free learning opportunity for you and your educators in your schools. All right, we're going to go to the last question. So one more here. And we just need to bring up the 4th poll question, and then we will start wrapping up. Carolyn and Joe, do we have the 4th question?
Yes, the 4th question is coming up, so let me just stop.
Thank you, Joe.
I need to get out of this. Hide this poll number.
So as we're pulling up this 4th poll, everyone, so some of the states with our highest number of participating schools are Pennsylvania, Virginia, Texas, Maryland, Florida, and New York. So lots of states out there with a lot of participation. All right, here's our last question. How likely are you to share the information about the Verizon Mobile Learning Academy with other school or district administrators in your community? So if you could select on a scale of 1 to 5, again, 5 being very likely. And we'll go ahead and give you about another 30 seconds, and then we will pull up our results here. Excellent. Oh, thank you. Well, it's great to see that so many people found it to be an exciting learning opportunity, and we do hope that you share it out. As we mentioned, in that handout of your pod, there is a PDF that you can download with more information. But I'm going to go ahead, if I can just have the quick poll removed, and I'm going to go ahead and just show one more screen or two more here, and then we will wrap up. All right, so I just need to go in. Oh, and as soon as we turn the poll off, we'll be ready. All right. And let's see, I just have to go, hang on folks. When it switches over like that, I always lose the page. All right, there we go. So we're finished with our poll questions. All right, so to find out more about the VMLA, again, you can go ahead and you can click on that handout and download that PDF. And if you want to learn more about the syllabus itself, you can go to our ISTE.org/VMLA website. We also have a few other options if you want to go right to the syllabus. We have a QR code that if you scan that with your mobile device, you can go ahead and you can view our syllabus for Cycle 4. There's also a Google shortened link there that will take you in. And I believe we're going to be posting it to the NASSP website also for your information, so you can access that. So that is all of the information about the Verizon Mobile Learning Academy. Hopefully you found one of those two tools to be exciting, and maybe you'll take that back and give that a try as you start off your new school year, and share that with your teachers and with your other peers, your other administrators that you know. And share the Verizon Mobile Learning Academy with them. So we would love to see you apply and be part of this wonderful learning opportunity and help you and your school move forward in your mobile learning initiative. I'm going to hand it back over to Sherry. If there's any questions that came through, we'll try to answer those quick. But Sherry will be wrapping up our webinar, and thank you so much for being with us today. Sherry?
Thank you, Jenna. So I do appreciate everybody's time and attention today, and I just wanted to remind you that we do have our next cohort starting October 5th, and so you want to get your teams assembled and start an application process within this next month. And we can get you approved, and Jenna will be your point of contact if you have any questions. If this October is a little too soon for you to get a team together, we will be offering 3 different dates in 2016, and so those dates are also going to be available shortly on the application website, so that you can choose those if the October 5th date just simply doesn't work for your team this year. So, so we had one person in the audience who mentioned that that she teaches in New York but lives in New Jersey, so she's saying, come on, New Jersey schools, let's go and apply for VMLA, so thank you for that. And can you click through one more? Yes, I wanted to mention for those of you going to the NASSP conference, we have Ignite 16 NASSP conference in Orlando, Florida, February 25th through the 27th, so that's just kind of a reminder of saving those dates. And with that, just a reminder that this has been recorded, and the recording will be available on the NASSP website starting tomorrow, I believe. So thank you again for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you at the VMLA and at future webinars. Thanks again.